Who doesn't love a good I beat that bitch up story time? What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. As you can tell by the title, I have a crazy story time for you guys today. Please keep in mind I'm not glorifying or glamorizing violence. This is just my crazy life story. And if you live an average life, you're gonna have average stories. If you live a crazy life, you're gonna make a YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jess. I'm a recovering addict who served time in prison, and my entire life story is in the description box down below. If you want to follow me on any other social media platform, TikTok, we just hit 700K over there. Instagram, Patreon, that's $2. It's only ever gonna be $2. All of that is linked in the description box down below, as well as my vlog channel and my podcast. So there's tons of stuff going on in the description box down below. All right, let's kick this thing off. So, I am like a squirrel crossing the road when I'm trying to explain these kinds of stories because there's a lot of layers to it. So hopefully you guys can follow me on this one. Also, I have made videos and deleted them in the past when talking about fights that I have been in, and I'm not gonna delete anything anymore because I think it just speaks to my growth as a human being. I used to be very angry and my life was very dark, and I've been in so many fights. This could literally be an entire series on my channel. I beat that bitch up series, or I got my ass kicked series. I have not won all the fights that I have been in. I've been jumped multiple times. So there was a lot of violence and drama and chaos and pain in my past. Now this story takes place in the year 2010, perhaps? Not exactly sure. I was living in my little Ewok village of a town. I'm quite literally from nowhere, New York. You've never heard of it unless you live there. I usually just say I'm from Binghamton because this town is like 40 minutes from Binghamton. So I just say that I'm from there so people can like readily identify where I'm from because I'm from nowhere. And I was in a codependent, very toxic relationship with my ex. To give you guys some backstory on how I got into a fight with this person outside of a bar, my ex and I had broken up like 12 times. But when I was, I wanna say 18, I was dating my ex from 17 to 22, 23, something like that. And we broke up a bunch of times, so many times. We were so toxic and just bad together. But when I was like 17 or 18, I found out that he was cheating on me with this chick. And I broke up with him immediately. I never confronted her or even cared to bother to talk to her. I just broke up with him and I tried to move on with my life unsuccessfully because I was so in love with my ex. It was so unhealthy though. Can't even like say that enough. You know, I tried to get over Randy many times and I couldn't. I really struggled with that because, you know, first love hits hard, right? So months go by and he's now living with this chick and on the run from parole. My crazy friends decided, let's go over to her apartment. And I'm like, well, I can't go because she's gonna recognize me and know who I am. Y'all go and I'll just chill here. My friend is stronger than me and she was like, bitch, I'll drag you there. Like, let's go. And I'm like, well, she knows me by name, right? Like she knows my name's Jess. So what are we gonna do about that? And she's like, I'll just call you April. And I'm like, what? You want me to go over to this chick's house and hang out with my ex and her, the chick he cheated on me with, and you think this is gonna be okay? So eventually I was just like, fine, y'all are crazy. Hope you got my back when this goes sideways. We go up there, in all honesty, to smoke a blunt. I walk in and the look on my ex's face was like a deer in headlights. And my friend was like, you know April, right? And without missing a beat, my ex was like, yeah, what's up, April? And he smiles and I'm like, this is so uncomfortable for me. This is so awkward. This is so weird and this is so uncomfortable. But this backstory is important because I didn't beat up this chick for 2 years. We're sitting there, it's super awkward. I'm just in her living room and she's like walking around and like, I'm just watching her and I felt so freaking uncomfortable. Like you could cut the tension with a knife and I'm like, how does she not recognize this energy? This is bad energy, you know? So I'm just sitting there like, And then my ex gets up and walks into the back bedroom to roll a blunt. And my friends are sitting there looking at me like, this is, you know, abort mission. Please let me leave. Like, I'm giving them the look like, please let me the fuck out of this apartment. Like, oh, I don't want to be here. My ex calls me by my fake name across the house and he's like, yo, April. April. Nothing. Doesn't register. Completely did not even like click in my head. Girl, that's your fake name. That's how bad I am at shit like this. I can't do it. I'm gonna forget instantly. So my friend like hits me in the arm and I'm like, oh, I'm April, cool. So I walk back there. Within just a couple of seconds, my friends had followed me and we didn't even say anything to each other. I'm just sitting there watching him like break up Bud and roll and I'm just like, oh my God, this is so fucking weird. This is so weird. I smoked with them and I made up some excuse to leave. Well, she found out later that that was really me. She figured out who I was. She met me in some other situation and she's like, I thought your name was April. And someone snitched me out, dry snitched, and was like, what? Her name's Jess. What are you talking about? April. And she's like, Jess, like Jess and Randy. Jess. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta run. I just wanted to get away from that situation. So now, 2 years go by probably. This girl had started rumors and drama and she had a whole clique of people that didn't like me and I always avoided that, you know, I don't care. So I always tried to avoid them. I saw them all the time, her and her friends, at every bar in the area. You know, I would see them at my cousin's house, I would see them at trap houses, I would see them at bars. So it was very difficult living in a small town to get away from people that you don't like. But I did that, you know, and I never wanted problems. You know I got a bad egg. I know that my ex cheated and that's my own problem. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to fight her immediately because I was so angry. My anger was more placed at my ex than her. You know, I really didn't care about her, but still I had to like navigate around not seeing this person. So my ex and I broke up for the millionth time and I was at a friend's house and we're having some drinks and hanging out and I was upset. I was crying. I was just so tired, you know, tired of the drama and the fighting and all this stuff. I had embarrassed myself many times running around that town looking for him. Has anyone seen him? Just crying and being, you know, dramatic, my dramatic self. And at this point in the story, the entire town is well aware of the chaos surrounding my life, surrounding my relationship. It was just kind of embarrassing, if I'm being honest. So I'm drinking at a friend's house and she's like, Jess, the only way to win this game with him is to stop playing it. Stop going back with him. Stop giving him a chance to disrespect you and treat you like trash and whatever. And I knew that that was true. I knew that this relationship was unhealthy. I knew I needed to get out of it. I knew that it was bad and it was just gonna lead to even more pain, but I just couldn't because I loved him so much and that sucks. You know, that first love hits hard. So after a night of hanging out with a friend and crying and drinking and using my DOC, which at that point in my life was heroin, I was messed up and I decided to walk home. I wasn't so messed up that I didn't know what was going on. I have a very clear memory of this night, but I decided to take the long way home and not walk directly back to my apartment, which if I had walked directly from my friend's apartment to my apartment, that was like 2 streets over in an alley and I would have been home. But instead, I walked all the way around our town. I have done hometown tour videos and remind me, I will link those down below, but I walked all the way around the town just to clear my head and just to not be in my apartment that I lived in with this person and he wasn't there, but I didn't want to go home because the memories of everything is everywhere. Our pictures are on the freaking wall. Like I just needed to walk around and clear my head. It was a Friday night and the bars are jumping and I didn't want to go to one. I didn't want to be around people at all, but because I had taken the long way home, I had walked in a way that I had to walk past a bar, if that makes sense, to get home because I had circled the town. So I knew I had to walk past the bar, which I thought was fine. It never even crossed my mind to think like, oh, don't walk past the bar. I want to say that it was like midnight or 1 a.m. and I walked past the bar and that girl is outside with her friends. They're drunk. And I can tell that they're drunk because they're really loud. You know, when people like drink and they get deaf, that's what's going on. They're super loud. I heard them from a block away. So I walk past them and she starts to get mouthy. and starts to talk shit in front of all her friends. You know, oh, you looking for him? Are you looking for Randy? And like was being really loud about it. And oh, I just like had it, you know what I mean? I don't know if she knew where he was at that time. Maybe he was inside the bar. I don't even know. Maybe she knew where he was that night. And she's yelling some other stuff and getting really disrespectful. So I turned around and I had walked past them when they started doing that, and I was originally just gonna ignore them, but she just kept going with it. So I turned around and I walked back to her, and I'm pretty close to her, maybe 3 feet away, when she's like, oh, I'm just playing, chill out. God, you're always so serious, like calm down. And I'm like, oh, we're joking. Okay, so it's a joke. And I'm like looking for her friends to confirm that, for her to confirm that. I'm like, okay, so we're gonna let it go. There's no problem then, right? We good? And she says, yeah. So I turn around and I walk down the street again. I get about the same distance away and she starts yelling again. I should have walked my ass home. I should have ignored it. I should have let it go. But old Jessica didn't play games like that. Old Jessica cared about her reputation more than her own life. You know, I cared about what people thought a lot. And because I was a dealer at that time and I wanted respect and I wasn't gonna let anyone disrespect me except my ex a million times, riddle me that, I don't know. I felt as though I had to stand up for myself. And she's yelling again. And instead of going home like I should have done, I turned around and I walked down the street and I get close to her and I don't stop. And she's like, oh, what are you gonna do? And says one more crazy thing to me. And before she even gets what she's saying out, I lit her up and I punched her in the face a few times and she had fallen back. Now, I'm never the kind of person that's gonna scream at you and yell and act crazy. Like if we're fighting, we're fighting. If I've made that decision in my mind that I'm swinging, I'm swinging. So I'm hitting her and I realize like, she's drunk. Like there's no fight. The fight lasted 90 seconds probably. You know, it was pretty fast. I realized really quickly that she was not gonna get up, that this is over, that she's too drunk to fight. You know, she didn't even get one swing in. I stand up and I look around expecting her friends to jump on me, you know, expecting them to defend her. And I get up and I look around real quick because my back had been turned to them this whole time. And I'm like, what's up? And no one said anything. No one said a word. So I'm like, oh, okay, we're good because there's 3 of you and then there's me. So I walked away and I went home, and when I got home, the adrenaline started to kind of wear off and I realized that one of my fingers was broken, and I don't even know how I did that. You know, I have no clue how I did that, how punching her in the face led to that, but it did. And I was like, oh shit, like this hurts. Now, again, I was a very angry, very temperamental person, and I was always punching holes in the wall. So my knuckles, I felt as though they were like permanently swollen for a while and they just looked gross already. So now I like couldn't even differentiate between like, is this the wall that I punched a hole in a week ago, or like what happened? So I don't know how I hit her. I don't know what happened, but I messed up my hand pretty bad. And that's the I beat that bitch up story. I really thought that being that person made me tough and made me strong. It was gonna make people respect me. And I look back to the person that I was, and I really don't like that person. You know, my drug use and my anger and the chip I had on my shoulder and all the drama in my life, that did not make me a good person. It made me a really shitty person. And my family has since told me that they had to walk on eggshells around me because they never knew when I was gonna explode. And that kills me because I am way like more chill. If someone was to yell at me now, I'd laugh at them and walk away, you know, but I couldn't. Like I just didn't have the ability to walk away from fights. And that's on growth. If you guys want me to make this a series, I definitely will. They don't all end in victory, let me tell you that. Some of them end in pretty devastating losses. But if you guys want more stories like this, let me know. in the comment section down below. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, because there's a 50-50 chance that YouTube might notify you. You know, it's like Russian roulette for YouTube notifications. I'm gonna end today's video here. As always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay sober, whatever that looks like to you, because there is no wrong way to recover. And I will see you guys in my next one.